So go get a snack and a drink, sit back and take notes of what I'm talking about. I'm going to hyper-analyze how to play Fortnite competitive and what you will need to do in order to go pro in 2024. Be sure to use the timestamps down below to skip around the video. Find the right and it is usually duos, so you need to be on top of finding a duo who wants to play and grind the game to get better as soon as possible. Whether you are an IGL or Fragger, find someone who can play the role that you can and stick with him for the whole year. Building chemistry is so important when playing, and if you just play with new people every event, you won't do good because you won't build chemistry in a short period of time. Master solos. If you rush to the comment section to say, my teammates are always so bad that I swear I'm good, you definitely don't understand the concept of you are only as good as your teammates. For example, if you can't find someone that you justify as good as you, it's because you don't have any placements to back up your skill level. No good player is going to risk playing with someone who doesn't have placements to back it up. This is where you master solos, by taking 1 or 2 seasons of just giving solos your all. If you give it your all, you should have mastered maybe a placement or 2 over the time you played, and now you can find a duo who did the same thing as you. Not only that, the things you learn will help you in the future. Whether that be fighting or decision making, it makes you an all-round player. Figure out your role. Figuring out your role might be the hardest thing ever. Because on one side you have the IGL, which is the and people who play with the duo, and on the other side you have the Fragger, the player who gives the eliminations, and it's way easier to do. For me, I was a Fragger all the way until I made $5,000. Then I realized that I wanted to IGL because I was good at fighting and I was really smart. That same season, I qualified to Grand Finals for the first time. All it took was just realizing what role suited me best, being flexible with roles. So you figured out whether you want to be an IGL or a Fragger, but now this is where I break it here, that even though you are a Fragger, it doesn't mean that you aren't smart. And if you are an IGL, it doesn't mean that you can't fight. Top players, whether they are Fraggers or IGLs, all understand how to do both roles and can make split-second decisions that can win them games. For example, Cooper, the most recent FNCS Grand champion, was always a Fragger until he played with Ferrer. Ferrer was also a Fragger, so you can't have 2 Fraggers on a team. So being a people player, Cooper decided to become the main IGL, and now he's made probably 1,000 times his earnings from IGLing, all while being one of the best fighters on the region. Knowing the map, knowing the ins and outs of this new map will give you a huge boost to progressing in the game. Most players just play the game to play and expect to get better, but understanding how other players move around the map will help you more than you think. For example, back in Chapter 2, whenever I land Horny Complex up spawn, we always scouted to see how many teams were landing in the Orchard area. If it was 2 teams, we would loot up really quick and go clean up their fights and get 3 points that would help us later in the tournaments. We did this because if there was 2 teams landing Orchard up spawn, we knew that when they would finish the fight, it would take them very long to reloot up because it's a big split. You can translate this to the new map. There's probably some spots on the map that you know that you will loot up way quicker than other spots, and then you can third-party their fights up spawn and make sure you get 30 points. Play your scrims. Playing scrims is something I did 3 hours a day for 3 years straight. I played every single possible scrim to learn how the game is for that season. I played scrims to test out new strategies every single day that I could use. Scrims for me to try new things and not to be afraid to fail because that's what practice is for. This also works with the last point because knowing how players move around the map comes from playing tons of scrims and landing next to you loops up. Bot review everything. I cannot stress enough how important it is to watch your bots. Back in the day, I would create discords and fill them up with so much notes talking about how good and how bad we did on that day of scrims or tournaments. Watching VODs allows you to see crazy things you probably would never found out before. For example, in Chapter 2, whenever a trio was looting risky reels, there would be a solo looting this bridge. So the team for Pleasant Park could loot up quick and have time to push the solo and get a free elimination. Something like that is so important at the top level. That's what separates the top pros from the mid-tier pros to the players that just start out. They always give themselves an unfair advantage. Storm Surge. Storm Surge is the hardest thing in the whole game. Storm Surge is how much damage you have done compared to the whole lobby, and if you are below the threshold, you will take 25 damage every few seconds unless you get more damage on other players. In lower level lobbies, it is very easy to get Storm Surge as the quality of the players in the game are pretty low. But as you move on to the finals against players tend to struggle. There are some players who qualify for every single cash cup because in the opens it is easy for them, but then when they get to the finals, they get eliminated by Storm Surge every single game game and plays poorly. Once again, this can all be fixed if you just fodder through your games and you look at players around you. And I know Storm Surge is probably boring for some people, but it is literally the hardest thing in the game, and when the top pros get their Storm Surge, they will usually end up doing good in a tournament. So do your research on how to get Storm Surge in party lobby, because you're going to need it eventually. Getting power positions. Open up the map and locate where the power positions might be. These are things like hills or mountains that give you good eyesight on tons of players that are around. You need to understand how power positions work, so you want to avoid them when you rotate around them so players don't tag you for Storm Surge. But not only that, you want to get on one of these power positions so you get Storm Surge tags for yourself. When rotating around the mid game, you want to plan ahead. Make sure that you don't run into a power position that stops a rotate. Master a drop spot. Pick a drop spot and master it. I don't care what it is, just master it. For me, back in Chapter 2, I mentioned Horny Complex, which was the best UI in the whole game. But since we practiced the drop spot every single day, we rarely got a spawn in